Hey guys, I am back with another video today about skateboard setup, and in this video I want to talk about the importance of truck height. So, got my notes again because I don't trust myself to try and remember all this, but basically truck height is something I really never gave that much thought to until more recently, and it really plays a big role in how you skate and how your board feels. So truck height can really be set in two ways primarily. You can buy trucks at a certain height, like if you go to a skate shop, they usually have like low, mid, and high. And then the other way to adjust truck height is with riser pads, which are the blocks that go between the truck and the deck. Alright, so in my notes here, I've got a couple things that you might want to consider when you are choosing what type of trucks to get, specifically with truck height. Alright, so the first thing to consider is pop angle. I've talked about this before, and pop angle is the angle that your board makes with the ground when you go to pop it up. The higher your trucks, the steeper the angle will be, and this is typically helpful for getting more pop, but it's a little bit more difficult to control. A lower pop angle or lower truck height is a little bit more responsive, and I think it's a little bit more easy to control. So if I was going to be trying to ollie as high as I can, I would probably set up a high truck with risers. But if I was going to be looking to skate more consistently, I think I'd go with a lower truck height because I feel like I get a little bit more control with a lower pop angle. Alright, the next thing I have on here is board weight. And specifically from adding risers to your board. If you're adding something to your board, you're increasing the mass of it. So that affects how much the board weighs, and by adjusting the height of the trucks, you are shifting the position of the wheels and the truck hanger, which have a pretty decent weight to them. That will change the center of mass of your skateboard, and that will change how the board feels when you go and do tricks with it. So that's just something to consider. Whatever you're not used to will probably feel less good, but definitely give things a shot before you rule out and say this isn't a good setup for me. Usually it takes a couple of weeks to kind of get used to a new setup. So that was number 2. Number 3, let's see here. Carving. So a higher truck will allow you to have looser trucks and minimize the risk of wheel bite when you turn. And for those of you that don't know, wheel bite is when you turn so much that your wheel ends up hitting the deck itself, and that could cause you to stop short. So if you're looking to get more carving out of your board, then you may want to get higher trucks and put on some risers. Alright, distance pushing is number 4. And this is something I noticed when I was skating to the old place I used to work out of. I had put on some big risers, and I noticed it was kind of uncomfortable because my board was sort of high off the ground. The lower your board is to the ground, the more comfortable I think it feels because your feet are more even. When your board's lifted up higher, you have one foot up really high on the deck and the other foot down low on the ground pushing. And this can kind of feel uncomfortable if you're pushing for a pretty long distance, but I think if you're just doing like short distances or just doing like trick street skating, you're probably fine either way. You might also notice long distance pushing, long distance LDP as it's sometimes called, I think. Those boards might be a drop deck, and you see some long boards where the trucks are actually on a raised up portion of the deck, and then the deck drops down. So I'll try and throw a picture of that or a link somewhere in this video so you have an idea of what those look like. Number 5, rail stands, or primos as they're sometimes called, which is when your board is sideways like this on the ground. For these, it's more stable, your board is more stable in a primo or rail stand with wider trucks. And the reason for that is that you're increasing the distance between the contact points of your board with the ground. So a way you can think about it is like a tripod. A tripod that has 3 legs really close to each other is going to be pretty easy to knock over, and the wider you spread out those legs, the more stable the tripod is. So similarly, the wider or the bigger the distance between your wheel when that's resting on the ground and the deck, the more stable it's going to be in rail stands. So that might help you learn some rail-to-rail flips and combos. Number 6, truck stands. Having a higher truck gives you more of a platform for your foot, so it's easier to land and catch a truck stand if you're, hopping into it or doing some sort of combo where you need to land, or like a switch foot pogo where you're switching your feet back and forth. With a lower truck, you have a greater risk of having your foot basically slip off. Okay, almost done. Number 7 is sliding. And this isn't something we talk about much in like freestyle or street skating really, and it's more common to talk about it in, I think, like downhill and freeride longboarding, but skateboarding is skateboarding, and it's fun to slide no matter what kind of board you're on. So sliding is, I think, generally easier with lower trucks. And the reason for that is because you're able to direct your sliding force from your feet closer to the plane of the ground that you're sliding on. So that may not make that much sense, but I've got a little demo. Here's a little water bottle, and if I say I have low trucks, if I push it from the bottom, it's easier to slide it along the ground. But if I try and push it from the top, it's more likely to slip over. So that's just an easy way to kind of visualize why I think sliding is easier on a board with lower trucks. And like the LDP boards, the long distance pushing boards that I mentioned, you might see a lot of boards designed for sliding that are drop decks or double drop decks, where both the deck itself drops down like that, and the trucks actually mount on the top side of the deck, so they can be even lower. Again, I'll try and throw in a picture so you know what that looks like, because it's kind of hard to visualize. Okay, I think, so those were the 7 things to take into account, and they're just a good idea to think about when you're designing your board and putting together your board so that it performs best for you and best for the type of skating that you want to do. And I think that's everything in my notes here. Oh, if you want to experiment for free with truck height, take an old skateboard deck, and from the flat portion, so like the kicktail and the kick nose, cut out your own risers. Just cut out a rectangle, use one of your current trucks as a template, drill the holes, put it on your board, and it will definitely feel different and definitely give you a good idea for how the truck height affects how you skate. And I think that's it. So I hope this helps you guys. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comments section of the video.